Hey guys, welcome to American Overwatch. We're gonna do another episode. This time, I got something new in the background. Um, I'm excited about it. It looks kind of cool, I think. Um, as you can imagine, I do support Trump. I think what President Trump has done in the last 3 years in complete adversity to the Democratic Party has been nothing other than amazing. Absolutely astonishing. I mean, every turn in at every single decision that President Trump has tried to do and trying to make, the Democratic caucus has fought him at every single step. And for him to be able to do what it is that he has done by creating jobs, for every demographic across the board in record numbers, record high economy, where economists said, oh, it's just, this ebb and flow, and it's still going up. And get this, the Wall Street experts in the stock market haven't even shuddered at the fact that the House of Representatives is looking into an impeachment inquiry. It is just keeps going up, totally ignoring the fact that President Trump may or may not be impeached, which we know he won't be because the Senate is going to put a stop to it and it'll be done with regardless of what the House controlled Democrats want to do. But enough about that. Let's talk about what the title of this episode is, and that is the schools are manipulating our children. I mean, if you can't see the image on the top right of your screen, let me just go ahead and try to blow this up for you. It says, this is from a test question from Duncanby Middle School here in the state of Florida, and it says, the question reads, basically what president was elected in 2016, 2017, Republican, the 45th president, real estate businessman, idiot. It describes the 45th president as an idiot. This is on a legit test question. And then the student had to answer Donald Trump. Well, the student was very concerned about the test. Bless this child, because they had the wherewithal and the personal integrity to take a photo and show their father. Well, their father, like me, loves Donald Trump. Mr. President, you have supporters. And he was outraged, as he should be. So he took it straight to the school, to the principal. Of course, he tweeted it, and it went viral. Then he took it straight to the principal, and he said, "What is wrong with you guys? This is what we're doing to our children. We're indoctrinating our children. We're describing words like this about our elected officials, our leader of the free world." Regardless of your political biases, regardless of where you stand on the political spectrum, you should not put nasty adjectives in a middle school test. And we're talking about in a day and age where we're talking about cyberbullying, just bullying in general, and we go and we put words like this to describe a president who has been duly elected by the people. Anyway, that just upsetted me. But then, as you all know, I've been working on a project about global warming. You can go to americanoverwatch.org/information, scroll down to the global warming page, and you can see all the research that we've been doing on it. But because I've been doing so much research, and I know that the young girl, Greta Thunberg, or whatever, however you say her name, has Asperger's and obsessive compulsive disorder and selective autism. Unfortunately, this poor girl has become a puppet for the elite global, the global warming community. So I started watching a video on YouTube, and this poor girl actually became aware of this global warming catastrophe, this sort of Armageddon event, if we do nothing, in school. In school. They're scaring even though this is in Sweden, they're scaring their children into believing that this Armageddon type event is real and it's gonna happen in their lifetime before they even reach the age of 30. They gotta do something about it. They gotta speak out. We need to change. And because she has OCD, she fixated on this issue, and she began a one-woman protest. But it wasn't by herself. No, of course it wasn't. It was all orchestrated. We'll get more into the weeds about how it was orchestrated. We're going to put it on our link chart, our link analysis. We're going to start linking some of these global warming, climate change conglomerates and their investors and how they're making billions off of people's fears about doomsday. I mean, this is just absurd. Absolutely absurd. First of all, there's an ebb and flow in the warming and cooling of the earth. That is natural. It occurs. We know that. Is this one of these events? We have scientists that I know of haven't actually addressed whether or not this that we've seen is part of that cycle. Furthermore, our research shows that water vapor has a greater effect in abundancy and per molecule than CO2 does. Although methane, CH4, does have a profound effect on greenhouse effects. However, the abundancy is very minute, so the overall effect is very small. Regardless, the climate warming elitist will have you believe that the Siberian ice sheets are cracking, releasing millions of molecules of methane gas into the atmosphere, and this is caused all because of human deforestation and burning of fossil fuels. I mean, this is just getting kind of absurd. But the schools are latching on to this. All right, there's even a professor who is giving this child Gutenberg or whatever her name is. Let me see if I'm saying her name right. Greta Thunberg. So anyway, Greta Thunberg is being advised by a professor and both basically revising her speeches, editing her speeches, and giving her substance. So again, we have here a professor who is essentially manipulating our child. Now, we got 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids running the streets called Antifa who honestly believe that they're a part of a social justice organization that's trying to do good. And now, where does this ideology manifest itself? How does one wake up one day Now, we all strive to be a part of something bigger and better than ourselves. At least good, honest, hardworking people do. We yearn for that as social beings. That's why after 9/11, there was no draft, just millions of people wanted to sign up and do their part in the military. In a time of war, they wanted to be bigger than themselves. They wanted to do something. That's why I signed up. But in a time of peace and prosperity, when people yearn to be part of something bigger than themselves, where do you go? What do you do? Where do you turn? Well, when you have elitists telling you that there is this catastrophic doomsday event on the horizon, and the professors in our universities are teaching this, our students are left to believe that, and they protest violently because they believe that Armageddon's here. They believe that this is going to happen. Listen, folks, this is a new age Y2K. Remember, I mean, for those folks that were around during Y2K, remember, oh, the clocks are going to stop on the computers and everything's going to crash, the financial crisis, the electrical grid, everything. Oh my God. And what happened? Everybody was waiting in anticipation, Y2K, and that New Year's was like not any other New Year's ever. And the ball dropped. And nothing happened. Life went on. The power stayed on. People still could get their money, and it was fine. All the while, the government, though, spent, billions of dollars. Now, that's not to say that there's probably some sort of aspect where some servers may or may not have actually crashed due to time domain servers. But, I mean, that doesn't take billions of dollars to just sit there and reprogram, a time, what do they call it? A time domain server. But anyway, schools are manipulating our kids. And if you're supporting American Overwatch, if you're watching this episode, you need to make sure that you stay involved with your students or your kids in what they're learning at schools. Okay? Do not expect them to come home, sit down at the dinner table, or sit down at their desk in their room or somewhere by themselves, finish up their homework, and bring it back to school. You need to look at the information that these schools are teaching these kids. And I'm being wholeheartedly serious. And if you have an opportunity and you could sit down with the school's administration and audit one of your kids' classes, maybe preferably not while your child's there in that class. You don't want to embarrass them. But, in middle and high school, they have, say, history, and you can audit the history class while your student or your child is in another class, but that teacher, and you can see what that teacher's teaching to the other students. We need to get involved with our kids in these schools because it's about time that we start looking at the Department of Education, and we're praising our teachers for doing such hard work in teaching our kids, and our children spend the vast majority of the time with our teachers, which is all the more concerning because some of these teachers actually have earned the affinity and admiration of some of these kids, and so they latch on to them, and they have a profound effect on what it is that they say and do. So if one of your kids latches on to a specific person that has some strong political bias, and they believe that doomsday's on the horizon, and they're teaching this stuff, your child is at risk for becoming another student or child who may be a part of Antifa, who may be at risk of being arrested, resisting arrest, throwing rocks, throwing piss bottles, violently protesting out in the streets because they believe that doomsday's on the horizon. This is a fact, folks. This is God to honest truth. Okay? I'm telling you now, it's scary what it is that these professors, it's definitely in the universities, in the colleges, because there's Democratic Socialist of America chapters in the schools. It started at the University of Michigan, I believe. I It's gone rampant. It's sort of like the modern day Facebook, if you will. The social groups that are there all started in these universities, and it's rampant. And so you got somewhere between 18 and 25-year-olds that want to believe that they're a part of something bigger than themselves, and that are actually protesting fascists by using fascist tactics. Okay, enough of the rant. Thank you so much for joining me here at American Overwatch. Watch your students, watch your children, see what they're learning in the schools, and we'll see you on the next one.